I've really got to give it up to the Acolyte in this one respect. There's not another Star Wars project that has come and gone that has received this much of a sustained, albeit simmering level of interest since its release, its failure, its continued failure, its leaked and then confirmed cancellation, and yet still remains at the forefront of so much of Star Wars conversation. It's absolutely wild, man. Now, that's not at all implying that it's popular. I mean, we've seen the viewing figures of it, and yeah, there's a couple of freaks on social media, but there's always just that a little bit of chatter in the background, just a little murmuring. And if you listen for it, well, you might be rewarded with a couple of chuckles, because yeah, we know it's canceled. We know it's never coming back. They got rid of all of the merch in the wake of its season/series finale. The higher ups, there we go. And Lucasfilm refused to acknowledge it, letting us know that even they can read the writing on the wall that this was probably an incredibly poor idea. But still, you have just about everybody attached to this project, from Leslye Headland's wife to the showrunner herself to Manny, Jacinto, Amandla Stenberg, and now we have another player, the one who thinks that Anakin blew up the Death Star, chiming in, because, hey, it wasn't the fact that it was abysmally written. It wasn't the fact that none of the plot made any sense. Our good old boy Yordboard here, he understands, okay? The most hated Star Wars shows, a lead knows what went wrong. He didn't get to finish the season with his head screwed on correctly. Was that the problem? Anyways, let's take a look. The Acolyte proved to be arguably the worst Star Wars TV show. On its own, yeah, for sure. Like, just the way that it was created, the way that it was made, the way that it was acted, and yeah, no, it was definitely the worst. In the context of things, that's probably still Obi-Wan, just for how destructive it is to the overall Star Wars mythos. But yeah, The Acolyte's probably the worst show. Probably. The one that angered legions of online fans. No, it just, I guess, kind of, yeah, angered temporarily, but mostly it just ended up devolving into just pointing and laughing at the $230 million dumpster fire, and it even struggled to find any kind of real audience. However, the best part of the show was the Good Place actor Manny Jacinto, who played the sexy Sith villain, determined to corrupt and kill as many Jedi as possible. Yeah, right. Recently, he diagnosed the primary problem with a Disney era in the Star Wars franchise is missing the romance. Oh, right, that's the problem. It's not stripping away a franchise that overwhelmingly skews masculine of any sort of masculinity. It's not appealing hard enough to the female audience that doesn't give a fuck about Star Wars to begin with. Yeah, there's female Star Wars fans. They are abundant and they are out there. They like Star Wars for what it used to be, back when it was popular, back when it was the biggest cinematic franchise in Hollywood history. They don't like what it's become, this androgynous, feminist babble. But the actor was interviewed by TV Insider, and they asked him if the fan campaigns focus on bringing Adam Driver's The Hunt for Ben Solo to life made him think The Acolyte could get its own unlikely renewal. Jacinto clarified that he would love to run it back if they'd have me, yes, and described the show as the role of a lifetime. He went on to say that he was proud of what the show did for him and Qimir's whole relationship. Oh, that's Osha's full name? That's weird. I thought it was Osha Anasea. I thought Osha was her actual name. Which made him get philosophical about Star Wars and other major franchises are typically missing romance. Right. Yeah, because obviously, yeah, you had Han and Leia. But was that at the forefront? It was simmering in the background and obviously a good plot thread. But was that what put butts in seats? I don't think so. I feel like merch with a lot of franchises that we currently have is missing romance. Well, it's just missing masculinity and proper femininity. So yeah, defining on who and what in the fuck is in a relationship to begin with, I guess we can extrapolate it out that far. We have a big fight scene and the origin stories of these heroes and whatnot, but they don't really have a relationship with other people. Yeah, that's also a problem. It doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. These are cardboard cutouts. These are action figures banging together, and you don't really know the two characters engaging in this battle. Obviously, it's easier for an actor to openly criticize blockbuster franchises now that he's no longer getting a paycheck from Disney. But honestly, it's genuinely refreshing to see a major actor point something out. And yeah, okay, like, I can kind of see, and we can kind of twist his words when it comes to there's not enough relationships, there's not enough romances to kind of make it half-ass make sense, but to come to the point that Star Wars needs more than big fights, I mean, yup. Because their fight scenes fucking stink. There's no consequence to a lightsaber battle. Just think about, okay, in there's only 6 Star Wars movies. Every single time that there's a lightsaber duel, somebody dies or somebody gets horrifically maimed. Just think about all the lightsaber duels that are in all of these slop D+ shows. How many of them actually have consequences? I can name you, 3 different duels where people get stabbed with a fucking lightsaber and survive, none the worse for wear. And so yeah, the critique, a sterile galaxy far, far away, that's 1000% what Star Wars has become. Sterile, androgynous series, just simply subsisting on self-references and not expanding the scope or the canon. Case in point, Leslye Headland ties the Acolyte to the Star Wars sequels. Lucasfilm provides a connection no one asked for, because yeah, you can't even for your series that's never going to get a season 2, there's never going to be a continuation. I want it to happen because I like a good laugh every now and again. But instead of just having standalone properties, no, guys, don't worry. It all loops in back together. But it's so nice that at least you take one of the least popular D+ shows and then you just tie it in with the least popular set of movies. At least you're kind about doing that, not trying to tie it in with the original trilogy. Tried to tie it in with the prequels with the Darth Plagueis cameo and the Yoda cameo at the end of it, but because that didn't work out, you decided, we need to link in with the sequels. Star Wars Rise of Skywalker left theaters nearly 6 years ago and divided fans as part of a divisive Sequel Trilogy. A few years later, The Acolyte went into production for Disney+. Yes, because if you cast your minds back in the aftermath of Rise of Skywalker, The Acolyte was actually one of the first projects at Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy ever greenlit. So that's kind of wild, right? That it wouldn't come out until 2024, but alright. One would think that showrunner Leslye Headland might have tried to distance herself from the Sequel Trilogy despite its canonical status. However, the upcoming book, The Art of Star Wars, The Acolyte, they're putting out an Acolyte art book. Okay, reveals that Headland intended to tie them together. Yeah, probably after she was made aware of this connection on Twitter. I remember this being just a point of contention running around in the summer of the Acolyte. The summer of 2024, where people were speculating. It's like, okay, is Smylo Ren, is he a Sith? Is he a dark Jedi? Is he a fallen Jedi? Is he a proto-Knight of Ren? Like, what are we dealing with here? And so, all of a sudden, oh yeah, no, he's one of those things. Trust me, that was always the plan. Yeah, no, 100% definitely the plan. Though, The Art of Star Wars, The Acolyte, won't arrive in stores until early next year. Aw, shucks, I can barely contain my enthusiasm. Fans can pre-order the hardcover for $50. Yeah, sure thing. Sure, all of the people that also pre-ordered the Smylo Ren helmet will just hop at this opportunity. The official description says the book showcases the production art, characters, and vehicle designs, planets, storyboards, and other breathtaking work created during the production of the D+ series. Interesting, filled with interviews with key creatives from the series. And this book offers a first-hand account of working within this new era. Oh my god. Yeah, you've seen a bunch of planets. I'd be surprised if there were any storyboards for this show, but alright, cool. Thing we're going to focus in on here is the stranger and a familiar face. As you recall, in Star Wars continuity, the events of the Acolyte take place 100 years before the Phantom Menace. Manny Jacinto plays Qimir, I forgot his full name, who was later revealed to be the stranger, a red lightsaber wielding former Jedi Padawan. Headland had planned for him if the Acolyte received a second season, includes revealing his true name and exploring his relationship with Darth Plagueis. Oh my god, I could hardly contain my excitement. Now, thanks to an art book, we know that her ultimate plan was to make Qimir the founder of the Knights of Ren, the Sith-adjacent cult first introduced in Star Wars sequels and The Force Awakens. Oh my god. So he was a proto-Knight of Ren all along. According to the official Star Wars databank, the Knights of Ren are the elite, fearsome enforcers of Kylo Ren's dark will that skipped out on a movie and never really developed anything more than, hey, they kind of are dressed like Kylo. I wonder what they're all going to go get killed unceremoniously after Ben and Rey force Skype a lightsaber. Anyways, at the climax of Rise of Skywalker, the redeemed Kylo Ren, now Ben Solo, once more single-handedly wipes out the Knights and, mostly off-screen skirmish. Yeah, exactly. With this ignoble demise already established, it seems odd that Headland decided to make the cult a key plot point in her show. which means that, in my opinion, it's as haphazard as a connection that she could possibly make. Just some last-ditch effort to try to tie herself and her stupid show into the greater Star Wars mythology, like all of the key jangles, like, you know, bringing in Ki-Adi-Mundi 40 or 50 years before he was even born, having the Plagueis cameo, having the Yoda cameo, trying to have, you know, wannabe a young Padawans before Anakin. It's like, she is simultaneously a hack. I don't think anybody's going to dispute that, but she is also the quintessential Star Wars creator. What do I mean by that? Self-referential, lacking in imagination, and all parts convoluted. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Smylo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.